If you have felt like you have been going backwards lately, it's not because you did something wrong, and it's not because you're being punished. And if you're honest with yourself, you know that it's not because you're being punished. But sometimes we do this thing where it's easier to tell ourselves a lie than to face the truth. And the lie that you've been telling yourself is that this pattern that keeps repeating is a punishment or some karmic thing that you're meant to deal with. And sure, it might be a karmic thing that you're meant to deal with. But the reason why it keeps coming up is that because you are cursed to continue on in this cycle, but rather because there's something about it that you haven't quite dealt with yet. And I have a feeling that the aspect of it that you haven't dealt with yet is the part of it that involves your feelings, because you're a very logical person, you're a very rational person. You are really good about working through things mentally, and that is a great gift because it has gotten you really, really far in life. But it can also become this Achilles heel. Oh my gosh, my cats are freaking out. Hi guys, give me up, be nice to each other. It can kind of be an Achilles heel because you spend so much time in your mind working through things logically that sometimes you forget to sit with it and actually feel the feelings of it. And if you're honest with yourself, I don't think you've sat with your feelings in a very long time. Or when you've sat with your feelings, it's in a way where you're not actually processing the pain. You instantly like tell yourself, oh, I'm feeling this way because of X, Y, and Z, or it's this attachment or this and that. And yes, yes, that is all true. That is all true. But if you don't ever let yourself actually process and truly feel the situation, it's something that's going to not only keep haunting you in life, but it's a pattern that you're going to keep repeating. Because when we spend a lot of time trying to understand it, we kind of lie to ourselves and we're like, no, I'm healed, I understand it, blah, blah, blah. But the pattern keeps repeating because we're not actually dealing with it. And the best way I can describe this to you is being in school and you're a student in a classroom and you spend the whole year learning all this stuff. And then the day comes for the final exam and you completely psych yourself out and you're like, yeah, I know all this stuff, but I just feel like I need a little bit more practice. And then you decide to repeat the grade again because you're like, yeah, if I repeat it, think one more year. And then you get to the end and it becomes this like loop and this cycle. And maybe you're not even aware that this is what's playing out. This is maybe something that's happening subconsciously. But if you were honest with yourself, the reason that you keep drawing in these people or this situation, it's because you haven't dealt with the root of the problem. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of us like do the inner work and we think that we're really healed, and then we get stuck in these loops, or we feel like we're doing all this progress and then things bring us back. And the reason why this happens to a lot of us is because we skip the part of sitting with our feelings, because that feeling can sometimes bring up so much shame, so much discomfort that we don't want to face, because we tell ourselves like, oh, I'm this broken, then I must be X, Y, and Z, when really two things can coexist at once. You can be this wonderful person and still be a very broken person. Having these shames and these things that we carry around isn't something that you need to continue to internalize. You have to really sit with that feeling and why you keep doing that. Like for me, for a very long time, it was drawing in partners that I knew were no good for me. But the moment they came into my life, it was like everything went out the window and I thought that I could like fix it this time. And then I would learn my lesson from that, and then I would just like move on, like, okay, lesson learned, and then I would do it again. And the reason why I kept doing that is because I never actually sat down and like really faced why I was drawing in those. And for me, it was because even though I had a really good sense of esteem about myself when it came to certain things, when it came to relationships, I didn't view myself very highly. I viewed myself really highly in certain aspects, but when it came to receiving love, because I had never truly learned how to sit with myself and love myself, and I had never experienced it before, I was just taking in this shit that was no good for me. So once I sat with my feelings and I realized how fucking sad and how broken and how empty I really felt, I could actually do something about it. And that doing something was literally just starting to nurture myself and love myself, not viewing myself as this project that needed to be fixed, but as a human being that went through some fucking shit in the past, and she's just processing it so that she can move forward. So if you're going through this feeling, it's not something that's being like meant to be a punishment. It's something that is just giving you a moment to pause so that you can really, really, for once, actually deal with this, because this is not something that Source wants you to continue to carry forward. And if you're honest with yourself, you know it's not something that you want to carry forward. And it can be really hard to admit that and go down that path, because sometimes we know that something is bad for us, but we're still drawn to it because there's something about it that makes us feel some kind of way. It triggers those little wounds inside of us, and we want to do that pattern. But the best way to describe this, you're in a retrograde period. And if you know anything about astrology, a retrograde is when a planet seems to be going backwards in the sky. And in Greek mythology, they would call that going into the underworld. And the whole theme of it was that this planet, say Venus, for example, would be going along her journey, and then she would be pushed into the underworld. And the underworld period was a period where that planet was going within. It was sitting with its lessons. It was having to clean up or tidy up anything that it left behind that still needed a second look. So view this as a moment in time that is forcing you to just stop and actually sit with yourself for once. You don't have to internalize it anymore. This is something that wants to come out of you. So instead of letting it sit in shame and not paying attention to it, Source is saying shine the light on it, because it's really not that scary. So I feel like that was a whole bunch of rambling, but if you're still here, I know it's because that resonated. So I really, really wholeheartedly hope that you at least get out of this the message that you haven't done wow, that you haven't done anything wrong, and this was just something that needed to happen. You couldn't go on anymore doing things the old way. Source is saying, like, things gotta change, okay? And the change is here, and you can do it. So I want to see what guidance Source has for you. So I'm going to ask your angels, your higher self, to come into this space, as well as mine. And let's see. I definitely got a cat hair in my eye, so I'm sad about that right now, but we're powering through. Okay, let's see. What guidance does Source wish to give you at this time? Okay, I want to give it one more. Yeah, if this message has resonated, comment below. Let me know how. I love to hear your insight. Humbly ask that you subscribe, give a like, whatever you feel inclined to. But, you know, a little energetic exchange can go both ways. But, okay. Let's see what guidance Source has for you. Oh, I love this. Okay. You have the Ten of Wands, the World, Ace of Pentacles, and at the bottom of the deck, the Six of Cups. So, yeah. Right now, the theme in your life is actually tending and nurturing to yourself. You cannot tend to other people if you are operating from an empty cup. So right now, going forward, Source says your main priority is to make sure your cup is full. When your cup is full, that's when you can pour into other people. But unless your cup is full, don't do it. You cannot do that anymore. And what will blow your mind is the way that you give love to other people is going to change drastically when you make yourself the priority. Making yourself the priority does not mean that other people are going to come last or they're going to go without you. No. They will. They'll get a better version of you because you'll be a better version of yourself. But you know that this thing that you have been carrying around for a very long time is not something that you need to hold on to anymore. You know that it has been drowning you. You know it has been bogging you down. So why continue to carry something that you know is no good for you? And I know that it sucks, especially when for a very long time you thought that this thing would be everything to you, and maybe it was everything to you. But certain things are just meant to come into our life for a season and for a lesson. And when we continue to carry them around for longer than that, it really becomes something that just becomes so soul sucking. So stop sucking your own soul and instead pour into it. You know, you know that this has run its course. And this is Source telling you, you know that it has run its course. So don't lie to yourself anymore. When you leave this reading, really sit with everything that I have shared with you today. Like, really sit with the pain, because you know that there is something inside of you that is hurting so badly that you are allowing yourself to cling to people and situations that aren't good for you. And if the roles were reversed and it was somebody that you very much cared about, you would be wondering, why can't you see what I see? So instead of being in your head, sit with your heart. You are smart mentally. Now we got to work on our emotions. And I'm not saying that you're stupid emotionally, because you're not. You're very smart. But you need to lean into your heart space a little more. Because once you let this thing go, Source has a wonderful opportunity for you. Whatever that thing is that you know you truly desire, whatever the thing is that this situation cannot give you, Source wants to give that to you. But first, that's going to take you having faith and trust in yourself and taking that leap of faith and running the fuck away from the situation. And I don't mean running in an avoidant kind of sense, but like distance yourself from it so that you can finally take care of yourself, so that you can finally mend yourself and sew yourself back together, because this thing has ripped you to absolute shreds. So I hope this resonated. I will make another video so soon, because I feel like there's even so much more on this topic that I kind of want to dive into. And yeah, but I know that this video is getting long. But yeah, I'm gonna make another one in the next few days, because I want to dive into this a little bit more, because you are 100% in a retrograde period in your life. So the going backwards isn't getting you off track, it isn't delaying what's meant for you. It is essential in your journey, because you have something really wonderful coming, and you're not going to be able to hold on to it and receive it correctly if you're still dealing with this bullshit energy. So I'm Natalie. You're so loved. Let me know how this resonated. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you feel inclined to do. It all makes me happy. But yeah, Source is with you. I am with you, and I will see you so soon.